7:15 on a Wednesday evening, and there's only one thing that's going to echo in our minds for the next 1 month or say 3 months. It's Leap 3.0. Welcome to yet another live training session at Leap 3.0, and today we are embarking on level 6. So I think we can pat ourselves on the back for reaching so far, and that pat should also give us the momentum to go forward for the next 3 months. Um, I'm sure all of you would have identified or noticed that prior to today's session, there was a lot of energy in the room. And I think there's only one reason that can come to our minds. It's because of Leap Connect. The previous sessions, there was a lot of silence, and I remember, definitely sure you would recall Jyotika saying, "Why are you so quiet?" But she would not have to ask that question anymore. So, Jyotika, that question can be raised. A few ground rules before we begin today's live training. I can see only 28 participants, and
Hello?
we're expecting
I got a missed call.
at least 65. So please do reach out to the remaining leapers and ask them to join in the next few minutes. Um, I would encourage each one of you to come on video and let's make this live training as engaging as possible. Please be on mute unless you are required to speak. And also, please rename yourself with your Leap ID. So if I was Sumant, I would rename myself as 07_38_ On that note, let's also have a small activity as before we kickstart. And this activity is called Guess Who. So I'm going to give an opportunity to 10 leapers to privately message me. So you have to go to my picture, press the three dots, and choose chat, and send me one sentence that nobody knows about you. All right, I'm going to read that sentence, and let's see if the other leapers can identify who we are going to talk about. So I'm going to give this opportunity only to 10 leapers. So go ahead and start. I've received one, two, three, seven more to go. Four, okay, five, halfway there, six, seven, I think eight, eight, two more, nine, and one more person.
Mm.
All right, I'm still waiting for the last person to send me a message. All right, I've received 10, and we're now going to get to know who our leapers are. So, all right, this particular leaper is an adventurous soul. You have to unmute and tell me who it is now.
Karthik.
Karthik.
Oh, okay, that was an easy guess. That was Karthik, right? Bang on. The next person is a food blogger.
Shilpa.
Pradhamnya.
No,
Huh?
no. Karthik, you said something?
Oh,
Pradyumna.
Pradyumna, no, no. All right, her name starts with M, so now it should be easy.
Meenakshi.
Meenakshi.
Meenakshi is our food blogger. The next person is a baker.
Shilpi.
Who? Rupa?
Shilpa.
Shilpa? Okay, that's right. Shilpa is a baker. So now we know what we can ask Shilpa to bake for us, huh? This is a simple one. He recently traveled by train, and the vendors
Pradyumna.
there.
Pradyumna.
Right. Fantastic.
No one knows, na?
The next person has two Shih Tzus at her home. Okay, at home.
Lata Manoj.
Who said that?
Me, I know
Oh,
that.
say
That was
no.
a thing.
So that's why, yes. Now, this person has an inbuilt NOT gate because she always thinks the opposite of what others think.
Jyotika ma'am.
No,
No.
no. All right, no.
Bhavna.
Bhavna, no.
Sharanya.
Yaranya, no. Her name starts with S, though. This person's name starts with S.
Serene.
Serene, no.
Priya.
Supriya.
Supriya, yes, it was Supriya who has an inbuilt NOT gate. So yeah, that's it about Supriya. The next person says, next sleeper says she's a good girl.
Such a big Kalyani. You.
Bhavana.
Bhavana, who said Bhavana? Because that
Hi.
person, Anita ma'am, yes, it was Bhavana. The next person has traveled to the US more than 9 times. Silence.
Rupa.
Oh, Bhavana said Rupa, and Rupa, yes, Bhavana, you are right. It is Rupa who has traveled to the US more than 9 times. I didn't know leapers think alike because the next leaper has also said that she's a good girl. I'll make it
Kalyani.
easy. Kalyani, okay. Kalyani is a good girl according to somebody, but Kalyani didn't say that.
Lata
Her
Nahar.
name starts with A.
Abhilasha.
Vilasha.
Vilasha says she's a good girl, and everybody now validated it here. The last person loves salsa dance.
Salsa dance.
Hmm.
Anita ma'am.
No.
Anita, ma'am.
Mhm.
Okay, no. At least she didn't say, tell that to me. Probably she likes it. Deepsha?
Yeah.
Debsha. Debsha, no.
Kavya.
Kalyani.
Kavya, no, not Kalyani. So I think this person definitely needs to demonstrate it next time.
Bindu.
The leaper's name starts with B.
Bindu.
Bindu, no. Come on, I gave you the clue.
Barinder.
Barinder sir.
Barinder.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, see, we got to know so many things about our leapers. Let's give ourselves a huge round of applause and a round of applause for our 10 leapers. Oh, there's one more person who has sent me a message, and it says, people called me strict, but now they know I'm a really fun person.
Jyotika, our lead
Jyotika.
Jyotika.
That's right.
Swap, Darren.
I'm sure the Leap Connect has definitely changed our perspective of how fun Jyotika, our Leap share can be.
Yes.
And yes, she has put in a lot of fun for us throughout the last 5 months. A lot more fun as we get to know her. Please put your hands together and welcome our Leap 3.0 chair, a distinguished Toastmaster who has breathed passion into Leap 3.0. That's the reason we are here every Wednesday. Please put your hands together for Jyotika Shetty.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Daryl. I didn't know that traps could be so sweet also. So thank you very much and a warm welcome, dear leapers. And what do I say? For yet another session or yet another renewed session. Because now I know all the leapers are smiling from year to year. Everybody is in a different frame of mind and all geared up. All thanks to Leap Connect that we had over the weekend. We got an opportunity to meet each other in person, spend some time together, do some activities, and get to know each other better. A special warm welcome to our facilitator this evening, Shridhar Sampath, who's here. In fact, he was here much ahead of time, and that shows his passion for learning, teaching, and facilitating. So, thank you, warm welcome, Shridhar. Today is yet another new month and the last month of the LEAP framework, at least the first phase of the LEAP framework, which is the 6 months of training. And we are getting into a very, very impactful and a very impactful level, which is leading change and leaving a legacy. Now, over the weekend, we saw that we did something different. It was a change, and this was a welcome change. And I don't think I would be wrong in saying that Leap Connect has been successful in leaving a legacy that will remain with us for the time that we're going to be around. But in organizations, change is not always welcome. And this is going to be a part of our leadership challenge. So, we're going to learn all about leading change and leaving the legacy in this month, in the 6th month, in different ways and forms, live training as well as peer huddles. Today, we're going to talk about driving change. And to do this, we have with us an individual who's a very accomplished personality, a leadership coach to C-suite executives managing over $300 billion in market capitalization. He brings over 40 years of leadership experience and knowledge based on his experience in industry. He is passionate about developing business leadership skills amongst business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives that has resulted in unparalleled financial profitability for the client. Excuse me. A CPA from USA and CA from India. He is a certified master of the Leadership Challenge, a Duke corporate education facilitator, and a faculty member of EMBA programs in the UAE and India. He has lived and worked in over 10 countries, and his work and life has taken him to over 50 countries, and he brings to us his rich, diverse experience in his programs. His last held position in the corporate world was the Eastern Hemisphere Financial Controller of a large oil and gas service company, managing their business operations and finance support functions. Over the last 15 years, as a speaker, coach, and trainer, he has impacted the lives of over 50,000 people across 50 plus countries. He is currently leading doctoral research on business acumen as a key determinant of organizational success. His work focuses on helping leaders translate strategy into execution, build financial intelligence, and drive sustainable organizational performance. He currently lives in Dubai with his musician wife and former Toastmaster Rajani and dancer Swarashri. Please help me welcome with a thundering round of applause our facilitator today, Mr. Shridhar Sampath. Over to you, Shridhar.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jyotika. Amazing. I just wonder if anybody experiences this. It's lovely to be introduced by an extremely articulate speaker. It always makes a huge difference. I've been introduced by many people, and sometimes I wonder, oh my God, why did this person ever introduce me? And today it feels so amazing to hear it in such a nice way. So thank you very much, DTM Jyotika, for that amazing introduction. As you introduced, and as I said, I speak in a lot of forums. And one of the things that amazing leaders do is to set the right tone at the top. If you don't set that tone, there is something lacking in your leadership. And from what I've heard in this nice camaraderie in this last 10 minutes, the amazing, back and forth between the people, the little icebreaker that Toastmaster Daryl set up for all of you, that you all know each other quite well. You work well together, but most importantly, you're also led by yourself and amazing leaders like Jyotika and Daryl and everybody else. So first of all, a big kudos to all of you for that. I was a Toastmaster for many years, between 1998 till 2011 or 12. And I actually was a Toastmaster from even much before that. My first experience of Toastmasters was in 1991 in Chennai, when I was invited to a Toastmasters meet, and the venue of that meeting was YMCA Rayapeta High Road, Chennai. And I did not know what I was getting into. I went to the venue. It happened to be a primary school. And the room that was allotted to us was one for kindergarten students. So we basically sat in these tiny little chairs. And every time somebody had to speak, we had to get up from those tiny little chairs and go and speak and come back. But that experience left a lasting impression on me that when I came to Dubai in 1991, a couple of months later, I was searching for Toastmaster chapters. Can you imagine how a simple 2-hour meeting in a nondescript location where people come and inspire you with their message can leave such an impression on your mind that you're yearning for more, you're thirsting for more, and you want to experience it all over again. And I did not find a Toastmaster chapter. I looked up everywhere. And at that time, between 1991 to 1996, the nearest Toastmaster chapter was in Bahrain. And I remember having written a letter to Toastmasters International saying, hey, why is it in Bahrain? Why not in Dubai? I don't even know whether that letter reached its mailing address, because in those times it was, postal mail. It was international postal mail. I don't know how long it took, whether it reached. And then one day I get a call saying there is a Toastmaster chapter that's starting up somewhere in a place called Kawanij. Now, if you cycle back to 1996, Dubai was a much smaller place. And Kawanij, which was not more than 10 kilometers away from the city center, was a dark area that you do not want to drive into at the end of the day, especially in the evening, because it is an industrial area. And I just got a car, so I drove to that place. I met with people, and it happened to be a meeting where they were signing up charter members, and I signed up as the charter member for Dubai Toastmasters Club. I don't even know whether they remember that I'm a charter member of their club. So I enjoyed that process. But again, Toastmasters left an impact on me, and I don't know what Toastmasters does to me. I attended a meeting in Chennai in March 1991. By end of March 1991, I moved to Dubai. I attended a meeting in Dubai in somewhere around May or June 1996. By July, I was transferred out of Dubai to Turkey. So for me, my biggest scare in life was, oh my God, I'm not going to another Toastmasters club, because if I go and attend a meeting, somebody will transfer me from that location to some other place. But I guess the larger message which I missed in that whole thing was, at that time, because I was much younger, and when you're younger, you're stupider, you're idiotic in what you think about stuff. And what I missed was that maybe Toastmasters was my passport to growth. That wisdom hit me much later. I then moved to Egypt, where there was a Toastmaster chapter. And here I said, bang, I'm joining. And I joined. And after that, it was nonstop. I was there for about 13, 14 years. So first of all, I would like to thank you, Jyotika, and the whole LEAP team for inviting me here. It feels so amazing. I'm attending a Toastmasters meeting after God knows how long. And it just feels like home. So thank you very much for that. Today, we're going to talk about leaving a legacy. Yes, the theme of today's talk is leading change and leaving a legacy. And I have titled it, Leaving a Legacy in a VUCA World. Let me just share my screen so that you can all see my presentation. Here you go. Can you all see my presentation? I just want some confirmation.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. And as we go through this presentation, here is a carte blanche to all of you. You have any questions, you feel free to ask me immediately. You don't need to postpone questions until the end, because one of the challenges I notice with questions is that sometimes people write down the questions and then they choose not to ask it at the end because they feel somewhere along the road it got answered. But it may not be the right answer to the question that you are wanting to ask. So if you feel that you want to ask a question, feel free. Just all you need to do is to raise your hand, and hopefully I will see your hand raised. In the sense, you need to raise your hand on the Zoom app, not physically, because I can't see everybody on my screen. suppose I were to miss you, either Daryl or Jyotika, please feel free to remind me that, Shridhar, you've forgotten to answer a question. So you have full authority to do that.
Sure.
Apart from that, feel free to engage with me either through the heart symbol, the clap clap symbol, or whichever symbol that you want to use. I'll be glad to receive your bricks and bouquets. So let's kick in straight away. Today, whatever I'm going to talk to you all about is based on some amazing work done by two authors who are also my mentors, James Couzes and Barry Posner, and they wrote a book called The Leadership Challenge. I have three editions of that book on my bookshelf right behind me. It's a book that I strongly recommend all of you, if you love reading books, that is. Pick up the book. There is an e-version. There is a hard copy version. Please pick up that book and read it. It will blow your mind away on how ordinary people like you and me become amazing leaders by doing extraordinary things in life. This book is not about Nelson Mandela's leadership. It's not about Mahatma Gandhi's leadership. And definitely it's not about the leadership of the current president of the United States of America. It is a book about you and me, about how people in companies, in organizations, in middle management, in senior management did certain things, and they did them repeatedly enough for people to call them exemplary leaders, and they created extraordinary change within their organizations. Now, by a show of hands on Zoom, how many of you agree that we live in a VUCA world? Do you know what VUCA stands for? I'm sure you've all heard of it. You're all working in corporates and you're working in different places. For the uninitiated, VUCA is not the name of a biscuit. It stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Do you all agree we live in a volatile world? Crazy, right? Somebody sneezes somewhere, some other country catches cold. We live in an uncertain world. Anybody here who precisely predicted when COVID would happen? Nobody. I took a flight on February 5th, 2020 from Dubai to Thailand, Bangkok, to go and deliver a workshop. We had heard that something called COVID was happening. My wife insisted that I buy a mask. At that time, I did not know there were numbers associated with masks, and I was told, get an N95 mask. And I went searching for it, and it was in such short supply that I paid probably 15 times the normal price of that mask, bought it, stuck it on my face, flew all the way to Bangkok. It's a 6-hour flight from Dubai to Bangkok, very uncomfortable. But because I had been told by my home minister that you dare not remove that mask because we don't want you getting sick, I went to Bangkok, delivered a 1-day keynote presentation and a training workshop session. Coming back again, wore that mask. And after February 7th, I did not travel out for nearly 12, 16, 15 months or so. I'm sure all of us experienced that kind of uncertainty. And I don't know how many of you experienced difficulties. I hope it was somewhat easy. For my side, I know it was an extremely excruciatingly painful time for a lot of us who are in the self-employed businesses, who had to figure out a way to overcome that challenge. But something interesting happened at that time. 2 months before that, during our annual planning process in my little company, we were asking ourselves, we're doing too much of traveling and we're doing too much of physical face-to-face work. Hey, the world is moving towards virtual. We need to do something about it. This is how conversations start in our strategy. What do we do about it? Or anybody here who has watched Walt Disney's Jungle Book, the old one, the animated version. Do you remember the vultures who sit on the wire and then they're looking down at Mowgli when he's kind of lying down there? And then they say, is that a man? Is that an animal? Can we go and eat it? And one of them says, so what do we do? So what do we do? So that was the question that came up. What do we do? And we said, okay, let's go virtual. Okay, what do you mean by going virtual? So we found out all the tools that were available, and I tried some Zoom sessions. Unfortunately, at that time, internet connectivity from the UA, especially video or voice over internet protocol, VoIP internet was very poor. It was clamped down by the local authorities, and I just could not get it done. But bang, came COVID. They opened up the lines, and what was an extremely difficult thing became an opportunity. And because somebody in my group had said we need to go virtual and done the research, while a lot of my colleagues in my industry took about 6 months to recoup their business, we were back on track in less than 3 months. And I found that, when I look back, I look at that it was one strange comment by somebody taking the initiative, figuring out what needed to be done, giving us a booklet on say, hey, do these things. And because of that, that saved the life that we were in our business, in the coaching training business, we were back up very quickly. And in 4 or 5 months' time, we were back to about 60% of our normal activity, which was an amazing feat. Complete thanks to the people who actually suggested it and made it happen. So change happens, but what can augment and what can mitigate the risk of change is our ability as leaders to listen and be prepared for the change. Is that making sense? Yeah. James Couzes and Barry Posner in their book say the best leaders are the best listeners. The best leaders are the best listeners. So let me ask you a question here, and I'd like you to answer by show of hands, either on the Zoom app or even physically. I can see about 20 of you here on the screen. I don't know how many else are there. When I am speaking or anybody else is speaking in the room, how many of you are trying to complete my sentence? Nobody? Okay, nice. If you do, there you go. A couple of you are. How many of you are sitting there as if you are a judge in the Supreme Court trying to judge whether I'm speaking well, I'm using the right ahs and ums, and I'm using the right body language because you happen to be a Toastmaster? Anybody out there who's doing that? Come on, be honest. Raise your hands. Sujit is kind of shaking his head like our typical Indian way. It's neither yes nor no. It goes this way and that. It's like a bobbing, in where I come from South India, and in our houses we have this little doll of what we call as pardon me for using that word, we call it the Chettiar in our house. The Chettiars were a business family. This Chettiar doll would have a big stomach, and every time you shake it, it would go like this, and that's how Sujit is shaking his head. So I understand you're saying yes, but you're kind of not saying yes entirely also, right? So that's fine. That's perfectly all right. And how many of you are not going to answer any of my question, whatever I ask you? Own up to that. This is a conversation, my friends. I know it's difficult. You're all muted, and I don't know whether somebody has muted you or you're muted yourself. But yes, one of the challenges we have as listeners is that we don't listen effectively. Because as somebody is speaking, we are either judging, or we're sitting there in the expert zone, or we're trying to complete their sentence. And the moment you move into that zone, those filters are stopping you from listening. You cannot effectively listen. And when you don't effectively listen, you can't effectively understand what is being said. When you can't understand what is being said, you cannot respond in the best possible manner as a leader. So the question is, what do we need to do to listen better? And the answer, in my opinion, is extremely simple. And I don't know whether somebody is putting something. If you want, you can also. Yes, please.
I meant observe.
Yes, Ashima, please
So
go ahead.
I observe a lot. So when I am not speaking, I am observing a person. Like right now, when you said you are judging, I am not judging. I am just observing how you are talking. Your
Awesome.
traits of talking, your mannerisms. So that's what all I am observing.
And that is also a filter because I don't know, maybe you're an expert multitasker, Ashima. My experience
No,
after
I'm not.
58 years, my experience after 58 years in life, Ashima, is that our human brain can do one thing effectively at one time. Though some of us would like to believe we are amazing multitaskers, I can do this and that at the same time and so on and so forth. So what I would encourage you to do, yes, as a Toastmaster, as a learner, you want to observe how I speak and what I do. At the same time, at this point in time, I would like you to listen. The recording, I'm sure, is available to you. Review the recording again later to observe and see what I'm doing in terms of speaking. The reason I say this is my experience, and anybody who, all those of you who have, a partner, a husband, wife, partner, whatever, just raise your hands, please. Most of us in the room, awesome. All of you who have a partner, tell me how many times have you been accused of not listening?
A lot.
I'm glad it's a woman who said that.
Often.
Really lot.
Really a lot.
Almost every time, sir.
We can't count.
And generally, the men steal the cake on this one. We are expert non-listeners.
That's why we are speechless.
I love that. I love that topical humor at this stage. Absolutely true. So, the ability to listen comes from the ability to suspend the mind, to quieten and silence the mind. Now, that requires a lot of practice because our minds are chattering at an incredibly fast speed, and it becomes very difficult. And it has taken me 30 years, and yet I don't think I'm there in the gradation of how well I listen to my wife. I don't think I'll ever reach perfection on that. At the same time, I know I'm a better listener today than I was maybe a month ago or 2 months ago or a year ago, because I make listening an intentional practice. In fact, I don't know how many of you noticed this. Ashma, did you notice this? When Daryl was doing that little icebreaker, and when Jyotika was speaking, and she did leave a place where I thought I wanted to get in, but I was consciously keeping my hand on my mouth. This is my technique to shut my mouth and say, listen. Right?
Correct.
Again, this is a tool I use because it works best for me, because I speak up involuntarily. So I have to force myself to do something physically to say, Shridhar, shut up, listen. Now, whatever methodology you use to improve your listening, I would suggest figure it out. The best leaders are the best listeners. Yeah. Prashant, you have a question? Your hand is raised for a little while. Okay, thank you. So we also live in a complex world. How many of you agree? Yeah.
Yes.
The Indian income tax, the Indian finance bill is just in the parliament. I don't know how many of you are finance folks, you're analyzing it. And man, is it a complex document? Laws are written to govern us, but the laws are mostly so complex that you need a lawyer or a liar to understand it. Both will work. Any lawyers in the room? Just to apologize, I'm not equating lawyers and liars. That's why I mentioned them separately. Right? That doesn't mean that all lawyers don't lie and all liars don't know the law. It's just that I'm treating them separately. Yeah. We live in an extremely complex world. We also live in an extremely ambiguous world. It's difficult to understand what's being said. Laws are passed, and then you need people to help you understand it. And even after you understand it, you need somebody who will interpret it differently, and then you're fighting court cases. We live in a VUCA world. Every organization. Now, what is an organization? Your team is an organization. Your family is an organization. Your company is an organization. Toastmasters is an organization. You yourself are an organization. And in this VUCA world, here you are, my dear leaders from Leap 3.0, you want to take the courage to lead. The last week I was speaking in a conference and I mentioned this. Can anybody tell me if courage is one side of a coin? Every coin has two sides. If courage is one side of the coin, can anybody tell me what is the other side of the coin? Please feel free to type it into the chat box after selecting everyone. What is the other side of the coin where one side of the coin is courage? Somebody, Karthik says fear, Shruti says trust, Rupa says confidence, Shilpa says strength, patience, success. Okay. Overthinking says Akash. Okay, let me make it easy for you all. In my experience, the other side of the coin called, on one side of which is courage, the other side is called stupidity. Anybody who's taken any risk in life to do anything, either to fall in love or to jump into a project or get married, you know that one side is courage, the other side is stupidity. Why do I say that? Now, I'm not saying that any of you is stupid or anything like that. Don't get me wrong on that. There's a very thin line between courage and stupidity. A courageous person is somebody who not only prepares himself, fights all the odds, takes that risk to make that action. And we only hear of courageous people who have been successful. Generally, nobody speaks about courageous people who have been unsuccessful. And everybody who's been courageous and lost sometimes has gone back and said, was I stupid to do that? Here you are, leaders. You are finding the courage to lead in a VUCA world. So tell me, how long does it take for transformation to happen? So let me show you a slide that talks to that. It took 68 years for aeroplanes to reach 50 million users. It took 62 years for the cars. It took 28 years for credit card to reach 50 million users. It took 18 years for ATMs to achieve 50 million users. It took 4 years for the iPod to reach 50 million users. It took 3 years for Facebook. It took 19 days for Pokemon Go. And it took probably less than a week for ChatGPT to achieve 50 million users. You are choosing to lead in an era in which change is happening so fast that by the time this talk is over in the next, say, 1.5 to 2 hours, something has shifted in the world of technology. And we don't even know what it is. So how do you ensure that your action does not end up being stupid, but ends up being courageous? We also live in a world, and especially all of you live in a world, where the average age of the people that you lead is becoming younger by the day. I was blessed. I got to lead some people who took the time to do things. Here, by the time you open your mouth and speak something, the people that you intend to lead have already decided whether they want to be led by you or not. Gen Alpha? The other day, I was in a coaching conversation with an investor CEO of a media company here. Now, he has the dual challenge of being like Barinder Singh ji, he's a Punjabi. He is also an army man's son. So every sentence that he speaks, like in Toastmasters, we have ahs and ums. In his case, every sentence that he speaks has some of those choice words that come out of these guys' words. And you know what those words are. And one of his Gen Alpha employees, who was a new recruit, or Gen Z, I don't remember, he mentioned that. I think a 23-year-old joined his company and left within 2 weeks. On the exit interview, she said, this company is very toxic. And this was a leader. My client was a leader who prided himself on his emotional intelligence. So to be accused that his company is very toxic was like enemy action for him. He immediately stopped everything. He went and met that young lady and said, please explain. Now she was caught. She didn't expect, she thought HR will conduct the exit interview and finish it. But here she was speaking to the investor CEO of the company who wants to know why she believes that that the company that she's leaving is toxic. But look at the courage of this young lady. She said, sir, since this morning, you have used these two words at least 23 times. Now, for any one of you who has met anybody who comes from North India, especially if they come from the armed forces, and if they're in their zone and they're talking and they're doing stuff and they're achievers, they don't even imagine that these words are in any way poor, because it's just normal part of their conversation. Like if you go to UK and if you go to London or UK anywhere, there is a 4-letter word that everybody uses in every sentence. That does not mean that they have ill will or they want to say something poor, but that's part of how they speak. The good part about this investor CEO leader is that day he made the resolve that he's going to watch himself. And he told his people that if you ever see me use these words, he let the lady go. The lady left because he couldn't stop her. But he told his colleagues that every time you see me use these words, please tell me, I will put 10 dirhams into a box. And at the end of the month, we'll count it and we'll go for a celebration. And it's now 3 months. He proudly told me that the collection in that little box has become 1/3 of where it started. The moral of the story, if you want to be a leader of change and you want to leave a legacy, the billion-dollar question, are you willing to change? Yeah, think about it. On a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is I'm a stubborn person and 10 is that I change before things change. You don't need to answer the question out loud, but rate yourself. What is your propensity? What is your attitude towards change? And make a note of it. And then make a mental note on where you would like that number to go towards in the next 2 to 3 months. Set a clear goal. And the reason for that is very simple. If you don't change, change will change you. And that change will be extremely painful. So the question is, do you want to be the consequence or do you want to be the leader? Yeah. Toastmaster Barinder, you have a question, sir?
Yes. Shridhar ji, You, as well as heard other speakers also, we always say it is an increasing VUCA world. But and what you told in last couple of slides, but don't you think it always has been a VUCA world since ages? Whether it was political disturbances, we have had two couple of world wars, whether it was economic disturbances, we have had economic crisis from 19 recorded economic crisis from 1929. We have had pandemics before. We have had the bloodiest of political event here in India, that is partition. We have had political leaders like the American president before. We have had sanctions on India, trade sanctions, innumerable times. The only change I feel is the information flow is faster. Except that it always has been a VUCA world. What do you have to say about that?
I completely agree with you. And the point I'm making is that it's a change that is going faster and faster. This is like a wheel that is spinning faster and faster. I don't know how old you are, Barinder Singh ji. I'm 58.
I am 53. 53.
So I can claim to say that I'm the oldest in the room. Right? And I know how things changed when I was younger, much slower. But now the change is so fast that if we, it's what we call a catch-22 situation. If we don't change as fast as change is changing, we risk missing the bus. And if we change as fast as change is changing, we risk killing ourselves through stress, through disappointment. Now, which option do we want to choose? That's the big question. And again,
so
that
you are
goes back
saying
to
it is a choice between FOMO and JOMO.
Yeah, why not? It is. And leadership, and again, Jim Kouzes and Barry Posner say this very nicely as one of the fundamentals of leadership. Leadership is a choice and an aspiration. I'll repeat. Leadership is a choice and an aspiration. If I want to lead, I have to make the choice to lead. And I have to aspire to something bigger, which means maybe moving faster than the way change is changing, which means I need to constantly do certain things. For example, upgrade myself. For example, talk to new people, talk to the younger people, make sure I'm listening to them well. I have to do so many things. So leadership is not easy. And yet, if you want to make extraordinary things happen in your organization, you've got to be willing to choose to be a leader and aspire to be a great one. Now, that's the difficult part. And that's why, which leads to my next question. I don't know. I think, Ashima, did you have a question that you wanted to ask that you kind of overrode yourself?
Kind of, yes. The reason why I'm wanted to ask is, I mean, there is a endpoint to a change in the sense, can I choose what I want to change and not as per what people want me to change? It's a VUCA world, and I have a capacity of changes to an X factor. Why do I need to do X plus one? And I know this is my capacity.
Yeah.
So
You can.
can that be my choice? Like,
Absolutely.
I do agree with you that VUCA world at present and the kind of rapid changes are happening, and the generations are getting shorter by a year, most likely. And changes are, inevitable. I cannot stop myself, but I can restrict or think just not to get into the stress of change.
Yeah. That's a choice you make. And leaders also know that choices have consequences. So the question you need to answer for yourself is, am I willing to accept the consequences of the change or the limited change or the unlimited change or the crazy change or the stupid change or the courageous change? That's it. As long as you're okay with the consequences, hey, make the choice. There are, somebody gave this example. I think it was one of my yoga gurus who said, there are teachers in every class. There are second standard kindergarten teachers. There are second standard teachers. There are 10th standard teachers. There are professors. They are all teachers. Does it mean that the teacher who's teaching a second standard is anywhere less than somebody who's teaching a 10th standard? Not at all. The person who chose to teach second standard is making a choice that, hey, I love to stay with these second grade kids. And I love that age because I still remember my daughter's first grade and second grade teachers. They doted on her. Even today, they track her performance wherever she's going. And I remember how when my daughter would go to school, because my daughter was and is, like me, a small person, vertically challenged. So my daughter would go and she would immediately jump onto the teacher's arms and the teacher would carry her around. So is that teacher any less a leader? No. She just made the choice that is where she wants to be. So by all means, choose your leadership. So here is a question to all of you, and I would like you to answer this in the chat box. On your screen, you have about 8 role models. Wherever you are in life today, at work, at home, as a person, which one of these role models had the biggest impact on you as where you are today? And before you answer, and before you type that, remember, my question was, wherever you are in life today, who is that one person amongst these role models who has had the biggest influence and impact on you as that person? Go ahead, type it in. Teacher, coach, family members, teacher, coach, family members, my family. Go ahead, keep typing. Family members, teacher, coach, family. A fictional character, one person. Family, teacher, coach, business leader, one person. Family members, business leader, one more person. Community leader, family. Nice. Leap chair. Oh, congratulations, Jyotika. Mother, teacher, family. Nice. Okay, I guess everybody who wanted to respond to the question has responded. In this cohort of, I don't know how many people are in the room, most of you have chosen a family member. Some, 1 or 2 or 3 have chosen business leader. Somebody chose a community leader. A lot of you chose teachers as well. What is this? And whatever you have chosen is not very different from this research that is an ongoing 38-year-old research. Here is the graph. 90+% of the people, when we ask this question, have chosen a family member, teacher, community leader, or a business leader. +90%. Can anybody create a premise around this data? Create a premise. What do I mean by a premise? Create a theorem. You know, if you're a mathematics kind of person, when you see some data and you find some correlation, you come up with a infallible truth. What do you see in this? Yes, sir. Sibaram Naik. Sibaram. Thank you.
Yeah, I see this correctly. If I can see the graph, I can see there is the left side pillar 8, what are the role model, right? Family member,
Yeah.
teacher, and coach. And we survey with over 30 and the age 18 to 30. So if you see the comparison with, right, the family members went to highest category, both
Yeah.
over 30 and age 30. And
Yeah.
and second will go to teacher and community. So what I'm saying,
Yeah.
that people like more this category, and the same time the age 30 also they like same parallelly. It's not like 46-40. This is not a big difference, 5 to 6% difference in the perspectives of thinking over 30 and below 30. That's
Yeah.
my perspectives on that.
Very nice. Thank you, Sibaram. And if you look at the chat carefully, some people said the people around us are the ones that we need to, who create the biggest impact on us. Absolutely. The leaders with the most influence are the leaders who are closest to us. Does that make sense? So let me flip this concept on its head and challenge each one of you. The people on whom you will have the biggest influence, you, each one of you as a leader, are those who are closest to you. The people on whom you as leaders will have the greatest influence are the people closest to you. Billion-dollar question coming up. How do you show up? Do you show up as a leader, or do you show up as not a leader? Do you show up as a leader on January 1st and then forget about your leadership until appraisal time, which is June 30th, half-year appraisal time? Or do you show up as a leader every day? What are the consequences of showing up as a leader like an Eid Ka Chand? And what are the consequences of showing up as a leader every day? What do you think? Warren, you want to make a point?
No, Shridhar sir. I want to have I have a question. Probably few slides back, and this is actually eating my this thing about the coin. You said two sides of the coin. One was the courage, and one we had stupidity. If I am not willing to change, am I going to be stupid?
No.
Then okay, I didn't get the connection. Okay, we are courageous.
I said
One side.
there's a thin line that differentiates courage and stupidity. And those who are courageous do certain things that enables them not to be called as stupid, even if they have been less successful. And there are those who do certain things or don't do certain things and take action. And then we call them as being, hey, this guy was stupid, man. And we're going to discover what are those things that people do that enables you to call them as courageous and not call them as stupid, because leadership requires courage. And that's what I would like to leave you all with. 5 things that you would do as that leader so that people call you that amazing, courageous leader during times of incredible change, so that people don't say, hey, you know what, this guy was not courageous. He didn't do certain things, and he probably borders on that stupidity. So I'm not saying that those who do not have courage are stupid. All I'm saying is there a thin line. For example, let me give you an example, and Warren, hopefully that will help you. 1996 in Dubai, they launched the Dubai Shopping Festival. They had something on the Dubai Creek. They had a bungee jump act. And it was a novel thing to do. And for a payment of 250 dirhams, then they not only allowed you to jump, but they would record you and give you a videotape. I still have the videotape that I did when I jumped the bungee. Now, courage is when you calculate the risks and you jump, knowing that there is a rope that will protect you based on the statistical analysis that says that, hey, 0.000001 or whatever number of percentage of people only times that their rope has snapped. Stupidity is to jump without tying that rope on your feet. Does it make sense to you, sir?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's what I'm referring to. So as a leader, tie that rope, calculate your risk, make sure you trust the people who are encouraging you to jump, and then say a silent prayer and jump. And hope that you're not in that 0.00001 percentage of people or situations where the rope snapped. But then life is that way, right? You never know what's going to happen. Whatever action you take, you do not know what is going to be the consequence of that. You just make sure that you have lined up your ducks in a row and you're doing the best possible action. And that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Srihari, question.
More like an observation. What you were just quoting sounded like a distinguishment between perceived risk and actual risk. Perceived risk in a bungee jump is that 0.001% where your reliability on the rope might snap. Actual risk when when we ride our vehicles outside without wearing a helmet. Even something above 30 kilometers per hour can be fatal, but we never look at it in that aspect, thinking what could be the actual risk on the road, who could come and hit us early in the morning. So an actual risk is something where you don't wear a helmet and go out, but we go out anyways.
And I think that actual risk is what I would personally like to call stupidity.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. That was the observation that I wanted to just bring in focus. Yeah.
Amazing. And thank you very much for bringing in this language, Srihari. Today's talk, I'm going to leave you all not with concepts. I don't believe in concepts. I have a coach. I'm 58. I have a coach who teaches me that concepts disable, distinctions enable. Concepts disable, distinctions enable. Now, for those of you who are trying to figure out, hey, what is this, man? What is this guy talking about? Concepts disable, distinctions enable. Very simple. How many of you know how to ride a bicycle? Most of the people in the room? Wonderful. What is the one thing you need to know to ride a bicycle? Yeah, Anita, thank you. She said balance.
You need to have a bicycle first.
Pedaling.
Balance.
You need to have the bicycle first.
Traffic rules.
Yeah, I might. So, Srihari, you're not listening. My question was, what do you need to know? I didn't say what do you need to have.
Need. Okay. What you need to know.
What do you need to know about cycling? Now, how many of you, before you learned to ride the bicycle, took up a book and said, oh, this is what balance means. It means you need to keep one side of your body on one side of the seat and another side of the body on the other side of the seat. And you need to make sure that the center of gravity is exactly in the center. And you need to make sure that you don't shake. Come on, how many of you did that? Anybody in the room? No. How did you figure out balance? You climbed on that bicycle, you rode away to hell, and somewhere along the road, after falling down a few times, you figure out, hey, you know what? This side of my body is heavier, and hence I need to sit in this angle so that I don't fall off that bike. Is that making sense? You made the distinction of what works for you. So I'm going to leave you all with a distinction of what will work for you on leadership that will enable you to drive change within your organizations, lead it, and leave a legacy. Are you all willing to engage in that conversation?
Yes.
And once I've done that, I'm also hopefully going to leave you with some tools that could enable you to actually make it happen. Because I don't believe in, giving you a soup and then cutting off the meal and saying, okay, the rest of it, go to the nearest dhaba and eat it. I give you a soup and I believe in giving you the meal thereafter. Now, the choice to eat it or not is yours. Yeah. So stay with me. At this point, who is, I think, Daryl, are you the magic man who's going to put together the breakout rooms?
Yes, Shridhar.
Okay, awesome. So I want you to group this entire, group this entire cohort into groups of 4 or 5, and I'm going to give all of you about 15 minutes. How many of you all came prepared to this session by completing the personal leadership best. Bharadwaj has already shook his head. He said, no, I didn't have time to do it. I was so busy at work. Man, this project manager that I have is such a bad guy. He didn't allow me time to do this.
Sir, I'm into sales. I have just joined a new company. Everyone knows that. So after just even it is not even 10 days, I joined my new organization and
I
into a
did not
bigger
ask.
and
Okay,
so
the excuse I said was that Bharadwaj is a technical guy. Now you have told you're in sales. That is even bigger problem. Because if people who are working in technical projects tell small lies, I'm just joking. Don't get me wrong, Bharadwaj. I'm not saying you say lies.
sometimes true. Sometimes true.
Hey, I'm an accountant who hated salespeople until I started my business and realized that sales is such an amazing, noble profession. And I'm not telling a lie at this point in time. Okay. Anyway, so while Daryl is putting you all into the breakout rooms, what I want you to do in the breakout rooms is if you have prepared that personal leadership best pre-work that I had given you, in your breakout rooms, I would like you to go and discuss with your colleagues. And you'll have to be very quick about it. Each one of you will get table topic style, 2 minutes to quickly tell your story. In each of the rooms, I want one person or two people, the other people who are listening, listen. This is practicing listening and practicing becoming a better leader. I want the other people to listen for leadership behaviors that that person has demonstrated that enabled that person to call that particular project his or her personal leadership best. Is that making sense? While one person is speaking, there are 4 of you who are listening for behaviors that that person has demonstrated. I'm not asking for concepts. I'm looking for behaviors. And a behavior is something that you do. A concept is something that you think. I want you to write down behaviors. Then the other person picks up, table topic style. So in each group, I want somebody to be the timer who will stop this person, bang at the end of 2 minutes saying, okay, your time is up. Let's move to the next person, complete it. So if there are 5 people in a room, 10 minutes, and then each of the rooms will have another 3 minutes to summarize your points. Because when you come back to the main room, I would like you all to share with me what are those general behaviors that you noticed people doing that enable them to say that, hey, this project that I did was the best change leadership project that I ever, and I'm so proud of it. I want all of you to know. Is the activity clear to all of you? Anybody has any questions, any doubts? This is your moment to ask. Raise your hand and I will allow you to ask so that the others can benefit. No questions. Awesome. Daryl, do you have the breakout rooms ready, sir?
Yeah, just give me one moment.
Okay. Moment is over.
Done. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Daryl is going to launch the breakout rooms. Daryl, the time, you please select time of 14 minutes. Bang on 14 minutes. Everybody comes back. Whether you're complete or not, we will debrief at that time. Yeah. Launch the breakout rooms, please. Thank you.
all right. So we have 8 groups with 5 people and 3 groups with 4 people, right?
Awesome.
You should be getting the invite right about now.
Awesome. Why is Sajid still on? There he's gone. Okay. Quick feedback. We are about how much time into the talk now? I've lost track of time. About 1 hour.
Almost an hour, yeah.
I hope the 15 minutes was spent quite usefully in sharing behaviors. Now, here's what's going to happen. Daryl, I'm going to request for your help, please. You have the list of the breakout rooms. I don't have it. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to call out, for example, group number 1, and whoever is one representative from the group number 1 who has written down is going to just quickly, in less than 15 seconds or 30 seconds max, identify 4 or 5 behaviors that you noticed as a common theme in everybody.
All right.
Yeah.
So
So Daryl starts. He'll say group number 1. I want one person to speak. Maybe Daryl,
I
how
will
will
read
we?
out the name. So I have the list here. I read out the names. Whoever from that group noted down can come forward.
Wonderful. And only one person speaks, in the interest of time. Go ahead, Daryl.
So room 1 had Sweetie, Kavya, Aditya.
Okay. Who's going to speak on for you all? Tick, tick 1. Tick, tick 2. Tick, tick 3. Time's up. You've lost an opportunity to speak up. Kavya, are you going to speak? You've unmuted yourself.
Yeah, actually, we
Yeah.
didn't decided who is going to speak, but I can go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, so the common theme which I can make out from all whoever spoke about is change happens just not through authority, but through empathy, structure, and consistency. Uh, Leadership is less about talking loudly and listening more deeply, and that shows us more reliable, and that's where we create an environment supportive for others. So that was the common theme which we
Okay.
came across.
I'm going to quickly summarize it. What I heard you say, Kavya. Number 1, I heard the word empathy. I heard the word leaders listen. Leaders create an environment where change can happen. They focus on influencing, not on authority. And anything else that I have? Did I miss anything out of whatever you said? I'm good. So will you give me a certificate as a good listener?
Yes, 100%.
Thank you, Kavya. Okay, Daryl, group number 2.
Room 2 had Warren, Karthik, Supriya, Prashant, and Shalini.
Okay, you know the drill. One of you choose to speak, unmute yourself and go ahead.
Yes, Karthik here. So my group consisted of the same group what Daryl just told. So basically, a couple of them spoke about how Toastmasters leadership.
Pause. Just quickly, as if imagine you're reading 5 bullets. Shoot the bullets, please.
So basically, building bond, empathy, and people's person is what we have come across.
Building bonds, meaning building relationships.
Yes, with the people.
Demonstrating empathy, and the third one,
being a people person.
Being a people person, as in being. What do you can explain that a little bit? Because I think I'm a people person, but somebody may not think I'm a people's person.
Okay, probably thinking from their point of view.
Stepping into their shoes. Again,
Yes,
empathy,
yes.
right? More of empathy there. Very good. Karthik, thank you very much. Daryl, group number 3.
Ram Prasad, Lata Manoj, Madhavi, Murali, and Shiba.
Okay, who's going to speak? Remember, I'm looking for bullets.
Connect with the team, build trust, motivation to do well, recognize small wins, and understanding the pulse of the team.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Next group.
To room 4, Bharatwaj, Yamuna, Srinidhi, Pradyumna, Julia.
From group 4, I am representing. So bullet points are listening carefully, engaging with the team, implementing learning, quick decision making, and working with the team. These are the 5 bullet points we observed in all our presentations.
And amazing. Thank you very much, Bharatwaj. Next group.
Room 5 had Kiran, Rupa, Timesh, Rishikesh.
Okay, so behavior, what we observe in a group is one is adaptability, coming out of the comfort zone, persistence, influencing, demonstration of skills, confidence, and capability, and positive mindset, and personal touch and customer experience.
So I'm sorry, I'm going to ask you to repeat yourself because I don't know who's speaking. Who's speaking? Can you just, because I can't see. Okay, can you just repeat what you said, please?
Yeah, sure. From group 5, we had observed these many behaviors. One is adaptability, coming out of the comfort zone, listening skills, and also having a personal connect. Okay, persistence, influencing, demonstration of skills in terms of confidence, positive mindset, and the capability.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rupa. Next team, please.
Room 6, Lata Nahar, Saravana Kumar, Shruti, and Srihari.
Whoever is speaking, just can you switch on your video as well so that you come up with the screen and I can see you.
Yeah. I would like to
Yeah.
put out a statement towards the kind of leadership demonstrated. One is assertiveness, taking a strong move forward. Second one is in damage control mode, where they had to put a brave step towards what is earning them, keep it, what is not earning them, remove it without having second thoughts. Third one is being confident in the approach towards event management and shift. So in moment, what mattered was completing the activity rather than seeing how it was done. So taking that into the concept and change. Fourth one is commit to change. So commit to change is basically from the tax system shifting to the GST form. So there was one person who took an active step towards learning it and becoming the lead in their internal audit team. So that made a huge shift in the outcome for
So
them
basically
right now.
learning and committing to that learning.
Yeah, learn and commit. Yes, absolutely correct. So these were
Wonderful.
the
Thank you,
four
Srihari.
characteristics that came in. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you.
Moving on to room 7, we had Navya, Shilpa, Serene, Sujit, and Kalyani.
I'll go on behalf of room 7. So, what we analyze is leadership is more about accessibility and building a team rapport. And the team culture matters much more than having a very rigid structure. And the third thing is empathy and accountability have to coexist, and that's how a team would move forward.
Nice.
That's it.
So you got to be empathetic and yet hold people accountable.
Yes.
In my world, in the world of coaching, my coach calls that ruthless compassion.
I would make a note of it. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Be ruthless on the project objectives, but be compassionate with the people. Does it make sense? Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Shilpa. Daryl, next team.
Room 8, we had Sunil, Sumant, Sibaram, and Ashima.
Yeah. Sumant, I'll be going from room 8. And in my room, the behavior I observed was bringing team together, empathy, supportive, taking ownership, trustworthiness.
Taking ownership and trustworthiness. Amazing. Thank you very much, Sumant. Short and snappy.
Room 9, we had Sajid, Abhilasha, Akash, and Anita.
I will speak. I'm Abhilasha. What we noted was growth, tendency to bring a change, courage to keep going, breaking the current pattern, showing up created confidence, empathy and planning, owning the situation and speaking up for others.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I asked for 5. We got 7 or something. Awesome. Thank you, Abhilasha. Daryl?
Yeah, moving on to room 10, we had Joel, Nitin, Chetlur.
Nitin, I'll go. So we had, I observed 3 things in the room. One is strong leaders, courage in uncertain times, perseverance, determination, seeing something in you, that is seeing special abilities in your teammate.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. Daryl?
And the last room, we had room 11, Lulu, Kalai, and Rosmi.
Okay, I can go ahead. So the first one is create an environment to adapt the change. The second one, influence the change to the team and explaining the benefits. The third one is adaptability to the change. The fourth one is leading by example. And the fifth one is understanding their needs.
Amazing. On behalf of all of you, I'd like to start by giving you all a round of applause. Amazing stuff. So if you all have picked up these and demonstrated these behaviors, there is no doubt that each one of you in the room is a leader. And yet, some of us feel, maybe I'm not that big, great a leader. So what's the gap between what we have demonstrated and what we want to aspire or what we see as exemplary leadership? And that's what the authors have found. They did this similar exercise. The authors did this similar exercise with more than 8,000 different personal leadership best stories. And they have more than 5 million respondents to a leadership assessment. And based on statistics and based on hardcore data and evidence, the authors finally summarized all of this into 5 practices. The first is model the way, and I'll explain what each of these are in just a little while. The second is inspire a shared vision. Did we hear the language of growth? Did we hear a language of, hey, we need to explain what is in it for all of them, right? Inspiring a shared vision. They heard it. The third was challenge the process. Don't accept the status quo. Be willing to push boundaries, get out of your comfort zone. We heard that language. Enabling others to act, demonstrate empathy, help them build their competence, whatever it is. And finally, encourage the heart, be motivating. Now, I'm going to talk very quickly about these 5 practices, but I want to share this with you. The authors of this book found out that your age, your gender, your title, your nationality, your looks, your height, your weight have only 0.003% influence on your ability to lead. But the people who demonstrated these 5 practices showed 23 times more achievement of amazing results compared to those who did not show this. 23 times. And it did not matter where they came from. It did not matter which country they were from. It did not matter that whether they were male, female, other, whatever it is. All that matters was, did they demonstrate leadership? So what are those 5 practices? Let's get into the meat of it. The first one is model the way. Now I'm going to share with you some quotations from the book. So just read this. Leadership is personal. And here's a question that I'd like each one of you to ask yourself. Do the people you lead, know who you are, what you care about, and why they ought to be following you? So Kavya, please unmute yourself and help me understand. I'm going to ask you a question. I just want a simple answer. Who are you?
The person who is on a self-discovery journey.
A person who's on a self-discovery journey, but that's the journey, okay? I can understand you're on a journey. Who are you? Can you tell me, if I were to, if you want me to describe Kavya to somebody else, what would be your most honest answer?
An empathetic person who is honest and believes in values.
Awesome. I'm just going to stay with me on that. Kavya is a person who is empathetic, who's honest, and who believes in values. Yeah, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now that I know who you are, as the way you described it, Kavya, if I were to be even slightly dishonest with you, would I be a good member in your team? Would you want me to be in your team if you know that I'm dishonest?
I would like to know the reason why you chose to be dishonest. What was the reason behind?
Okay, very good. That is you. Now I'm going to ask you another question. Now that I know Kavya believes in honesty, I will probably also know that if I am dishonest, Kavya is going to probably tolerate me, maybe a couple of times, and then ask me question, Shridhar, why are you so dishonest here? You can be a little bit more honest, but after the third time, you're probably going to cut me off and say, hey, you know what? I don't want to deal with you anymore. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your team or whichever project you have led, have you had this conversation with people that, hey, I'm an honest person. I believe in empathy and I believe in holding our values true.
Yes, I had. And I had people also who were not adhering to being honest at times, and I had to have more conversations to take them into confidence.
Fantastic. That means as long as they did not respect or align with your values, you had to put in extra effort as a leader to get them to be aligned. Would that have cost you a little bit extra time, effort, energy, and probably money as well?
Yes, absolutely. I had to have one-on-one conversations. It has to be informal as well, getting to know them so that I could have from where they are coming from, if or what is wrong with whatever they are feeling basically, so that I can make them understand why it's important to be honest and empathetic as well at the same time with the team.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Kindly give a round of applause to Kavya. How many of you have taken the courage to have a conversation with your team members to describe to them who you are, just like Kavya expressed, what you care about and why they ought to be following you? And what is the cost of not doing so? What is it costing your team currently? What is it costing your organization when leaders don't tell others who they are? Because Olivia Lai says this, in order to become a leader, it is important that I first define my values and my principles. So here is a graph, and I want you all to watch carefully. Look at this graph. There are 4 quadrants, 1, 2, 3, and 4. On the x-axis, which is the horizontal axis, it's about clarity of my values, low to high. And on the y-axis, which is the vertical axis, it is about clarity about organization's values, low to high. So please look at this and tell me, in which quadrant do you think people would be if their commitment as an employee needs to be highest to the organization, to your organization or your company or whatever? Which quadrant? And you can answer in the chat box by a number. Just choose. You can only choose one number. Which quadrant? Okay, 2. Okay. Quick. It doesn't take too long to type in a 2. Or type in any numbers rather. Somebody said 1. Karthik says 1. I'd like to know why. Okay. I can see that most of you are choosing 2. It's kind of a no-brainer, right? Best, I have full clarity about my organization's values and I have full clarity about my values. I expect the alignment to be the best. Okay. Second question. And Karthik, I'll just come back to you in just a little while. In which quadrant do you think the employee commitment would be the least? Okay, Nitin says 1. There are a lot of people saying 4, again, which sounds like a no-brainer. Yeah. Okay, thank you all. I'm going to show you what the data actually tells us. Quadrant 2 is the highest, 6.26 out of 7. 1 is the least, 4.87. Nitin chose 1. Quadrant 4 is actually just above the least. And quadrant 3 is at 6.12. So now, Karthik, why did you choose 1 when I asked you which is one has the highest?
I had actually worked for an organization. I have clarity about my values, but then having more clarity towards the organization values, which matter a lot. So they want us to work in that way. So I cannot actually go with my values. I have to go with the organization values at that point of time.
So,
that is the
so
only
you
reason.
felt that if having clarity of my organization's value, regardless of what my core values are, is what gave you the best commitment because you were clear at least what they expected.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
got it. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Nitin, why did you choose 1 for the second question?
No, it was a typo. It was a typo.
Oh, thank you for your honesty, my friend. Thank you very much. Now, why do you think quadrant 1 would be the least? Anybody can Talk to me about that. Raise your hand. I'll open up you can then open your microphone. Why is quadrant 1 the least? Ashma, you want to say something?
Not really, sir, at this point.
No
Because
problem.
I'm still analyzing it, yes.
Yes, Akash. Why is quadrant 1 the least? Or, sorry, Sunil Kumar.
Yeah, hi. I just want to, first of all, sorry about my bad throat.
No problem.
Okay, so the quadrant 1 is the least because this has the highest clarity about organization's values, but that is least clarity about the employees' own values. If they don't match, then there is a serious problem. That's why it has the least value, right? Ideally, it should match so that organization and the employee can progress together.
Okay, interesting, Sunil. Thank you. Akash, why do you think quadrant 1 is the least?
Yeah, I think an organization's value is dependent on the person's value. So if a person is not really has clarity on their values, they will most likely switch to a different organization or not able to commit to an organization because it has to resonate within them. So they'll most likely go to a different organization or after a certain point be less productive.
Nice. Thank you very much, Akash. Thank you. Okay, one last answer. Prashant, you want to say something? Bharadwaj, I'll excuse because in the interest of time. Prashant, go ahead.
Once you are clear about your values, only then you can align it to the organization's values, and that creates commitment. If you are not clear about your own values, then you can't align with the organization values, even if you know it.
Very, 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 very true. Very true. Thank you all for this input. It's very simple. If I know my values, even if I disagree with my organization's values, I will still show commitment because I'm very clear about who I am and what I want to be and what I'm doing in that organization. And at the same time, if I don't know my values at all, but I just parrot the company's core values, you know how empty a bag I would sound. Is that making sense? And after some time, definitely somebody will see through my nonsense. And I really cannot motivate and get other people on my this thing because they know that this guy is just parroting something. Anybody who's who's done their chartered accountancy or something here? Nice, Shilpa. Yeah. I did my articles many, many years ago. I was part of a firm in Chennai. It's a traditional and old firm called NC Rajgopal and Company. One of our biggest client base were the Cinestars. So you name it, we had them as our clients. Now, Cinestars, obviously, at any point in time, most of them come in with their own bag of ego and everything. And ours was a traditional firm that always wanted to stick to the straight and narrow. Now, when I joined the firm, I had a boss, a partner, who kind of had this conversation with me and said, look, in our firm, you may find these people coming in, but your job is to make sure you do the right thing for the client and for us as a firm. I'm so blessed to have had that conversation. Without telling me that these are our core values, he actually had a core value conversation with me that made my clarity so high that even though we would have some of the most irritating and probably some of the most non-compliant clients, we somehow managed to ensure that when we submitted their income tax returns, when we completed their accounting and finalized those reports, we were able to marry the two things because we would tell them, hey, this is where the line is drawn. Now you choose. Do you want to do this or we'll have to do something different. And usually they would fall back in line. And this is what it helps. And that is the reason why at that time, at least I remember, and I know even today, NC Rajagopal and Company, because we were very clear about our leadership philosophy as a CA firm. When leaders are clear about their leadership philosophy, their employees and their constituents are 25% more engaged, or even up to about 40% more engaged. Sorry, the leaders themselves are 25% more engaged than normal. So what is modeling the way all about? It's about clarifying your values. It's about identifying who you are, having that conversation, and then creating shared values with the people. Now, I don't know who it was. I think it was, I don't know whether it was Prashant or the person before him who said, if there is complete alignment between my values and my company's values, then there is, we probably have a happy place to be. No, you don't need to have complete alignment. You need to have respect. There is a difference between having respect and being aligned. If I know your core values and I learn to respect it, and this is how you do things, and I'm willing to respect it, then I will do whatever it takes because I respect it, because I know who it is. But if you don't tell me what your core values are, it will take me some time to analyze it and find out what it is. And by the time, harm could be done. So whenever you're leading any project, especially when you're going towards changing an organization, the way things are done, my request to all of you is to first define who you are, sit with your people, identify what are those core values with which we can all work together on this project, have open-hearted conversations on how do we get everybody to understand that this is what together we are going to work with. You may have individual values, but together we're going to work on this and make sure that everybody respects each other. And that's a very important aspect. And here is what I would like you to do on a daily basis. At the end of each day, please ask yourself one question. What evidence exists that I did what I said I would do? That I made decisions and took actions consistent with my values? Read this carefully. What evidence exists? Not what did I think about? Ask yourself, did you walk the talk? For example, Kavya said honesty is one of her core values. And let us say Kavya chooses to be dishonest at work, and very honest at home. Would you be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say that, you know what, I lived a purposeful life today?
Not at all.
Yeah. You can't be two different people at work and, a different person at home. And that's the beauty of leadership. Leadership, if you're a manager and you want to be a manager, you could do that. But if you want to be a genuine exemplary leader, you've got to ask yourself and stay true to it, because people will see through the nonsense very soon. So step one, make sure you're clear about your leadership philosophy and everybody understands it to be the same. How many of you watch people in public life and immediately form judgment that this guy says one thing, he or she does something else? And then you lose faith in whatever their leadership is, and you just ask yourself, I don't want to know anything about these guys anymore. And how many of you follow those people who walk the talk? Yeah, it's as simple as that. So if you want to really drive solid change within your teams, first define who you are, get everybody to agree on a common set of values, and then somebody said this, holding people accountable. Demonstrate it and hold others accountable to that which you agreed you would do as a group. That's all you need to do. Many years ago, my dad had a factory I come from a place called Hubli in Karnataka. My dad had a factory there. We were running a foundry. Those of you who know engineering know what a foundry is. We melt iron and steel and we pour it into castings. It was a high-risk environment where cleanliness in the factory was very, very important. Not just important, it was mandatory. But then I'm talking about 1980s. In Hubli, which was mainly a rural place, we would not get educated people to work. We had to train them. And one of the challenges with people from the village or people from different walks of life is they may not hold the same standards of cleanliness as you would want them to have. And so waste, oil waste would be lying around. And there was always this risk of fire. My dad got tired of asking people to keep it clean, keep it clean, keep it clean. One day he took a bucket, labeled it as waste, walked into the factory, started picking up the waste by himself, putting it into the bucket and taking it and going and throwing it. The laborers looked at him and said, "What happened? Boss has gone mad or what?" Day two, he picked the bucket and came. Some people picked up waste. They were about to throw it into the bucket that he was holding and realized, oh my God, this is dangerous. They went and threw it into the dustbin themselves. By day 5, my dad's bucket was nearly empty. By day 30, and he consistently did it, everybody was made sure that when dad is coming around to the factory floor, you better have your workplace clean, man. My dad, during those 30 days, never yelled at anybody. He never told them you need to go and throw it. He just did it. Even years afterwards, that bucket would be lying on top in that factory at one place as a reminder to everybody that if you don't throw it, this old man is going to walk around the factory floor lifting your crap. So better be watchful. Lead by example. Yeah. Let's go to the next one. Inspire a shared vision. What it's all about. How many of you have driven any time in any hill station and you encountered a fog? Or even in Bangalore, you may have encountered a misty conditions. I mean, I know in Bangalore or wherever in most of our cities, traffic is slow anyway. But let us say you're driving on a highway and you experience a misty or a foggy condition. What do you do?
Just keep a map open on the dashboard so that you know the general route of direction you're going, and keep your eyes open on the road for any imminent obstacles that you can't see in clear vision.
Very good. Do you keep driving at the same
No,
speed
the
of
pace
80, 90
reduces.
kilometers, or do you slow down?
The pace reduces. Yeah, pace reduces.
Very good. You slow down.
And
let us say you, sorry.
I saw a person who actually going in a two-wheeler. I tried to follow him and I was very damn slow looking at the maps as well. That gives more confidence. Yeah.
Amazing. And let us say you have somebody in the car along with you when you're driving. What do the other people tell you? Hey, go slow, man. Drive slowly. It is dangerous. Please drive slowly. You're scaring the hell out of us. Please drive slowly. That is the conversation that happens. And let us say the fog lifts. Srihari, what do you do immediately?
Pace up. First, look at the time required to reach the destination. And if we have the time, probably maintain same pace since the rest of them are used to it, or pick up the pace once we have an open road.
My God, everybody should have somebody like Srihari around in our world, you know. But normally, what will people do? The fog lifts, you hit the accelerator and make sure you find every gap in the road to reach your destination faster. Tell me if I'm saying it wrong. Kalyani does not agree. She says, no, even if it is clear, I will still drive at 30 kilometers an hour.
No. I definitely agree that people would not agree with this.
Ah, okay. Okay. The point I'm making is, would it be fair to say that as a leader, most of the times you and your team members are driving in a fog? And as a leader, your responsibility is to lift the fog from their eyes so that they can drive faster. Does it make sense? Sujit has this thoughtful, questioning look on his face. Sujit, what's the question running in your head?
No, I was thinking of if at all you can help others and lifting the fog, that would be one thing that I usually do. So I was thinking about scenarios.
So when the fog is lifted from the eyes of your followers, how do they behave, Sujit?
Certain people like to follow me, but certain people say that they go through a different way.
Okay. But do they work faster, quicker, more confidently?
Yes, possibly.
Yeah. Would you like to have a team in which everybody is working quickly, faster, more efficiently, more motivated?
Yeah, but yes, I would like to.
I mean, we all like that, right? We all like that. So one of
Yes.
the things I would like you to imagine, and you read from that book that amazing exemplary leaders do, is that they lift the fog from their eyes of their team members. But first, they lift the fog from their own eyes. Because when leaders are forward looking, 71%, people expect leaders to be, 71% of the people expect their leaders to be forward looking. Colleagues, it doesn't matter, but you expect them also to be forward looking. Leadership is more than influence. It's about reminding people of what we want to build and why it matters. It's about painting a picture of a better future. How many of you have a vision statement for yourself? Yeah. Sujit, Srihari, Karthik, some of you. If I were to read your vision statement, would a picture form in my mind? Well done. The reason I ask this question is, how many of you like to watch photo albums? Very good. Which is the photograph in which you spend the most time?
When we were kids.
Kids. Childhood. Childhood.
Very good. Childhood. Especially the ones, Shruti, in which you were there, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Inspiring a shared vision is about painting a picture of the future in which your team members find themselves. Is that making sense to all of you? When you paint that picture, you will see the magic that unfolds. Because now people don't see themselves as, I don't know what I'm doing here, but they actually see themselves of being part of a successful or a happy or whatever project it is. And I'll give you a very simple example. One of my clients, and this was a story narrated by one of my clients in a company called Ingersoll Rand in Bangalore. He was doing this leadership program, and this is what he said. He was responsible for one of the projects to move, I think, one of their facilities from point A to point B. And he was given that project, wasn't sure how to do it because he was a high achiever. He was given that project. And when you get a project like that, if you're a high achiever, you don't go and say, no, I don't know how to do it. You just say, okay, I will do it. And you try and figure out. But the smart leader that Ramesh was, Ramesh went, called his group of close people that he has worked with on previous projects and said, guys, we have been given this project. I've been asked to choose whomever I want to have in my team. First of all, are you guys willing to participate on this team with me? They all said, Ramesh, if you are going with the project, we are coming with you. Awesome. He said, but we have only 18 months to complete this project, and we have to move this whole facility point from point A to point B. And I don't remember the specifics on which place it was. One of the team members said, Ramesh, they were debating different alternatives. How do we get people to be excited? How do we get to know what they want? How do we know what will happen? They were charting out all those, having those conversations. Ramesh says that one of his team members said, let's do one thing. On the existing office location, let's put this big cutout with a countdown timer, and let's start posting big pictures of how the new location is going to look like. So that when people are entering the office or leaving the office, they are seeing that there is something happening. And then as teams would come and start talking to them, they would take them to the new location, show them that this is what's happening, what are your challenges, and they would put another picture of, hey, this team visited us and this is what we did. He says the beauty of exciting all the people towards the new location was everybody came to us and told us what is not working in the current location so that we didn't have to discover it later. We didn't have to send a survey to everybody to say what is not working in your place. They came and told us. He says that sorted out half of our problems. Because now we had their engagement. When leaders envision, meaning create this amazing vision of what's going to happen in the future and enlist people into it, the constituents or the team members are 25% more engaged and leaders are known to be 50% more effective. Inspiring a shared vision is all about imagining exciting and ennobling possibilities. How many of you have worked with a leader who never bothered to tell you where the project is going and expected you to know it by yourself, and you felt at times like a rudderless boat, out there in the sea? I'm sure we've all had our share of such leaders. We don't need to name them. Yeah. And I'm sure we also have had our shares of amazing leaders who painted such a picture that we would sometimes be even ready to die for them. I know I've had such. I used to study in a boarding school. We had a gang called the Bolts in our school. The leader of our gang was a guy by name Chandran Christian. I was a new student in that school. I've just moved from Sholapur Don't. That's where my dad was posted at that time. This guy brought me under his wings. He was my height. And he kind of told us that, we have this gang called Bolts, man. This is what we do. We do fun things. What he basically did not tell me was that the definition of fun things is that we break the school rules. But that came later, right? And then he said, whenever the prefects on duty want somebody to help, we are the ones who help. I said, hey, this sounds cool, man. This sounds fantastic. And he was also a musician. So I love music. So we kind of had bonded. And he would do stuff. We have done all the kind of nonsense that you would not want anybody in the school to do. In another 8 days' time, all of us classmates, we are going out to a reunion after 30 years. All because one of them said, guys, we are all reaching around 60. If we miss this opportunity, we'll probably never get another opportunity to meet each other. Let's go. 3 of the 5 Bolts who are on the group, the other 2 are unfortunately not with us anymore. We were the first to say, yes, we are there. That's inspiring a shared vision. It's a different matter that Chandran went on to. At one point in time, Chandran used to lead a band of musicians on which A.R. Rahman was the keyboard player. It's a different matter that Chandran's life took a difficult turn. He went on and got involved in a lot of stuff that we don't want anybody to be involved with. And it's a different matter that he still struggles with keeping his sanity in a place where he is. But, life takes us on different turns. But the point I'm making is that when you are able to envision that future, here is the question that I would like you to ask yourself. Imagine it's 5 years from now and you're attending a ceremony honoring you as the leader of the year. What do you hope others are saying about you? Write it down. Look, put yourself 5 years hence, look backwards and ask yourself, what is it that you want others to tell about you and your organization? If it excites them, you know that they'll be with you wherever you go, however far you go, especially when you're trying to change things within your organization. Because one thing we all know, people hate change. Why do they hate change? Because everybody wants to enjoy the life as it is. Why should I put in that extra effort? But if you are able to excite them, then you have something amazing with you. Brings us to the third practice, challenge the process. And here it is. I have a quiz for all of you on the screen. What I'd like all of you to do is to look at the column that says product and identify the source of inspiration. So please tell me on the chat box, what do you think was the inspiration for Band-Aid? Which of the options on the rightmost column was the inspiration for somebody to invent Band-Aid? Yeah, well done. N. Okay. Look at number 9, post-it notes. Which one do you think was the inspiration for that product, for post-it notes? Okay, I'll choose the last one. Not the last one on the list. Number 11, Velcro. What was the inspiration for Velcro? Well done.
G.
Yep. So can you see how, and your answers were more or less right. The inspiration for Post-it was the spouse who used to cut her fingers. The inspiration for Velcro was the burr sticking to the pants, and the Post-it notes was the better bookmark for a church hymnal. Can you see how there is no connection between the product and where the inspiration came from? Where do you think the next idea is going to come from when you want to especially implement change and you want to drive innovation? Here's what Fred Smith, the chairman of FedEx, says. I get a lot of my ideas from synthesizing things from different disciplines. It might be something from the world of technology. It might be something from the world of retailing or the grocery business, or it might be something really just from reading. You want to drive change? Somebody mentioned that, you know what, we need to create a space where people can try different things and, be successful. If you want to be a great leader, you've got to be an amazing learner. You need to create a safe space where people can make mistakes. How many of you have heard the story of Art Fry, Post-it notes creator 3M, or read of it? No? Art Fry used to visit his church and found people struggling to keep bookmarks in the hymnal book that they would have. It's kept on a vertical stand. It keeps slipping off. So he wanted to find out how we could make sure people can keep a bookmark that can stay on the book but not tear the page. So that was his need. But at that time, all the glues that were being invented would stick permanently. Now, that was not going to help him. Art Fry went back to his company. He heard of an inventor in his company whose glue invention had failed, meaning he had invented a glue that would not stick. Art Fry had the wisdom to put 2 and 2 together and make 11. He brought that glue that would not stick. He put the paper and he said, wow, this sticks for a small period of time, but after that it doesn't stick. That's what I need. And the Post-it notes are one of 3M's most best-selling products ever. It took one mistake and one inspiration to come up with that idea. How many of us have experienced leaders who, when we tried something new, told us, shut up, sit down, just follow the process? Especially if you're in technology, especially if you're in accounting and finance, especially if you're in HR. How many of you know how to walk? Thank you for answering so quickly. Some of you are wondering whether I've gone cuckoo because I'm asking you this question. No, I haven't. How did you learn how to walk? You learned by trying it and hopefully a sibling, a parent, your mother, father telling you, what would happen if, as you were trying to get up and walk, your sibling or your father or your mother said, idiot, sit down, you don't need to walk? Would you make the effort to walk? Nature teaches us to walk, but it's our parents who create that safe space so that we can keep trying until we really learn how to walk, and then we run and then we forget about them. It is the job of leaders to ensure that they are seeking challenges. When you feel that, when your constituents feel that you are seeking out challenges, they are 25 to 35% more engaged. And as a leader, they believe that you are, man, you're an amazing leader. You're more effective than other leaders that I see because you are willing to challenge the process. You're willing to search for opportunities. Where will you search for opportunities? You're not going to find opportunities in your nearest Reliance retail market or Big Buy or something like that. You're going to find it in the most uncommon of places, if I may use the word. And you got to make the connection between that innovation that you see and how you can make it apply in your organization. And once you do it, I remember somebody in the groups talking about small wins. Who was it? Can you raise your hand? I don't know which group it was.
Our group.
One of
Lata.
the group.
Yeah, Lata.
Yeah, Lata.
Yeah.
It's about experimenting and letting your team members experiment and take risks by generating small wins, because innovations don't happen in this big bang approach. As a leader, you need to give the space so that people can innovate, learn, celebrate, and if it doesn't work, again celebrate and move on and keep doing it step by step. The more you adopt the small wins approach and learn from experience, the more likely people around you are going to say, I love this leader, man. He gives me the space to experiment. He gives me the space to try new things. And I'd love to work alongside this person because I feel respected. I feel empowered. Which brings us to empowerment. Okay, before that, once a week, ask yourself, what have I done in the past week to improve so that I'm a better leader now than before? How many of you work in organizations where you have strong processes that you must follow this? Yeah, most of us. I'm an accountant primarily. And sometimes I feel I was one of the 12 monkeys in my company. Everybody heard the story of the 12 monkeys? There were 12 monkeys put into a cage. When they got hungry, they dangled a bunch of bananas on top. One of the monkeys took the initiative to pluck the banana, but the researcher shot a sharp stream of ice cold water on that monkey. The monkey jumped down alarmed. 10 minutes later, another monkey tried it. That monkey also became wet and cold. Another 10 minutes later, when the third monkey was about to jump up, the other monkeys held this monkey back, saying that, idiot, if you jump up to get a banana, we all become cold and wet. Day 1 passed, all the monkeys decided not to eat any of the bananas. Day 2, somebody tried again, same thing happened. By day 4, all the monkeys had resigned themselves to the fate that, you know what? Climbing up to pick up the banana is not worth the effort. Day 5, the researcher removed one of the monkeys and replaced that monkey with another fresh new monkey. Now, obviously, what do you think the fresh new monkey did? Climbed up to pull out a banana. What do you think the other monkeys did? They slapped this monkey and said, sit down, stay here. We are more experienced than you. If you climb up and show initiative, we'll all become wet. By day 12, the researcher had replaced all the monkeys with new monkeys, but none of them took the initiative to pick up the bananas. What's the moral of the story? Sometimes we are all monkeys in our organization. Is that making sense?
Yes.
We are dumbed down by organizations to say, follow the process, stick to this, don't move anywhere. Now that's a reality that we have to face. How do you overcome it? By creating the space where small changes can happen, incremental changes. Anybody who's read the book, It's My Ship. If you have not read it, I suggest that you pick up that book. I think I have it right here. If I can see it, I'll pull it up and I'll show it to you. By Captain Michael Abrashoff. It's My Ship. I don't know. I can't see it offhand. Captain Michael Abrashoff was a staff officer who became the leader of a ship, of a warship. And it's a story of how he transformed that poor performing warship to one of the best warships in the damn US Navy. That's how he says it. And one of the things that he says in that book is, when rules don't work, bend them. And if you have to break a rule, break it softly. Does that make sense? Now, what do you mean by break it softly? Get your stakeholders on board with you. Say that this is not working. Communicate effectively to them. Show them what's in it for them. That's another topic that came up before. Show them what's in it for them, and then gently break it so that it can sustain itself. Otherwise, somebody will shoot it down. And in this process, you've got to learn how to enable others to act. What is enabling others to act? It's about fostering collaboration and building spirited teams. The word teamwork and building teams and all came up a few times in your leadership stories. Actively involving others, creating an environment of mutual trust. This word as well came in quite a few times. And respect. And Lois Skilling says this: if you see the best in people and expect the best in people, they deliver. I'll repeat. If you see the best in people and expect the best in people, they deliver. He doesn't say, I as a leader deliver. Because when they deliver, you deliver. When you enable others to act, your team members are 30% more engaged. And they think you to be an amazing leader. Now, what does it take to enable others to act? Anybody who is aware of the flow concept? It was invented by a Czechoslovakian psychologist by name Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. Anybody who's heard of it? No? You can Google it. It's there on Google. Yeah, Nitin has heard about it. Flow. Yeah, Rosmi, you've seen it?
Yeah, if that's the same thing, normally I've read it in a book called Ikigai. They say once you are in the state of flow, you don't see the time pass by. So you enjoy and you immerse in it completely. And you'll be delivering your best.
Awesome. Rosmi, have you experienced those kinds of times in your life, in your career, at your workspace, or wherever in some project?
Yes, I've experienced that during my career phase when I have joined a new org into management. So I experienced that it was coming very naturally for me, and I enjoyed the process. So, and one-on-one sessions and all I have enjoyed. I never knew I would look forward to it.
And so what does the flow mean? And let me explain for the benefit of everybody. The flow is the time when you as an employee or your team members as a team, the challenge that you face is either equal to your capability or the challenge is slightly higher than your capability, which enables you to be aspirational about it, wanting to conquer it. So if you were to take a graph on which you have capability and skill, and let us say, so I'm a chartered accountant, let us say somebody hires me as a clerk in a company. How do you think I'm going to feel? Am I going to be motivated? No. Okay. Let us say I'm a new graduate and somebody gives me this big project to do. How do you think I'm going to feel? Again, demotivated, maybe even scared, fearful. Why did this guy give me this big project? Maybe he wants me to fail. And by failing, he will then fire me. What do great leaders do? Exemplary leaders sit and have one-to-one with their people and find out, hey, what are the challenges you're going through, meaning at work? And make sure that the challenges are aligned with their capability or skill level so that they are always in flow. And flow is when Sachin Tendulkar is batting in his form, when the ball looks like a volleyball to him. Flow is when Roger Federer is playing tennis and he hits that sharp return of serve that hits the edge of that court and flies off. Is it making sense? You as a leader, if you want your people to deliver at their best, one of the biggest roles you have is to coach your leaders to be successful, which means you've got to take the time to sit down, understand their capabilities, and make sure that you are challenging them slightly above their capabilities, and then coach them to the next level and then increase their capability, and then coach them to the next level and then increase their capability. Anybody here who's learned music, whether Hindustani, Carnatic, anything, or dance? Are you asked to perform at a serious level right on day one? No. You go through the process, right? Your teacher, if your teacher is an amazing teacher, and a lot of teachers I know are amazing teachers, they put you step by step through the flow. And then they challenge you. Okay, today come and just sing this song. Come, do this little dance routine with me. And then they encourage you and then they push you to the next level. The best leaders are amazing coaches. They are not my way or the highway. Which then brings us to the, yes, please.
Shridhar, how much more time would you require?
Exactly 4 minutes.
Okay, sure.
Thank you for that reminder, which brings us to the next. What enabling others to act is, it's about fostering collaboration and building trust. It came up before in your conversations. And strengthening others. So here is an action item for all of you. What can I do in this moment to make others feel more powerful, more competent, and more able to do more than they think they can? What can I do in this moment to make others feel more powerful, more competent, and more able to do more than they think they can? Yeah. Brings us to the final practice, encouraging the heart. So here are 2 questions. Answer this on the chat box. Thank you, Kalyani, for sharing that. Please say yes if you need encouragement to perform at your best. Okay. Okay, that's about 15 of you. Okay, Karthik says, nope. Not always, says Sunil. Quite often, yes. Okay, pause. Answer this next question. When you get encouragement, does it help you perform at a higher level? Karthik? Some people said, of course, yes. What does it take to encourage people? How many of you have bosses or leaders who sometimes even forget to say thank you? What does it take to say thank you? Your constituents want to know that you value them. They want to know that you think they're doing a great job and that you're not taking their contribution for granted. And the first core truth about positive emotions is that they open up our minds, open up our hearts and our minds, and making us more receptive and creative. When you celebrate accomplishments, your people are 26% more engaged. And this is all data from 38 years of research. And your leaders are 31% more effective. So the question is, how can you encourage people's hearts? The first thing you do is recognize contribution by showing appreciation for individual excellence. How do you do that? I was coaching a leader this morning, and I asked her the question, when you have team members who do a great job, what do you do? She says, we have a system in our company that enables us to give them whatever, a 500 or a, whatever rupee or 1,000 rupee or a 2,000 rupee voucher. I asked her, do you get amazing results from that? She said, no, half of the time they just take it and they walk away. I said, how do you know what they really want? She said, yeah, one of them said he or she wants, I think it was a she wants to sometime meet the CEO. I said, why don't you take that opportunity? Next time the CEO is walking by, just ask the CEO to stand and ensure that this lady takes a picture. You think that she'll value that picture more than the 1,000 or 2,000 rupee voucher that you gave? She said, absolutely. I said, what does it take for you to make sure that she gets that photograph? She said, nothing. I said, then what's stopping you? How many of you know your parents and others who still hold on to pictures from their times when they were working, when they got something and they met some senior leader in the company, and they keep showing it to you saying, you see, I met the CEO of the company and he said this to me. But they would have probably forgotten that big fat bonus that they got at some point in time. In summary, all it takes to really encourage people's heart is to say, thank you. You're doing an amazing job. And mean it from here, not from here. So here's a question. How many of you know all of these things that I've been speaking about for the last 2.25 hours? You all know it. You've heard of it. You've read of it. Okay, here is the bigger question. How many of you practice each of these every day? The difference between being a normal leader and an exemplary leader is exemplary leaders take the time to practice these. Do you know of an amazing, excellent sportsperson? It's because that sportsperson practices every day. Do you know of an excellent doctor? It's because the doctor practices it every day. Is that making sense? The drift of where I'm taking this? You want to be that exemplary leader, practice it well. Because research by Jim Kouzes and Barry Posner says that those people who follow or practice the 5 practices of exemplary leadership more often than others drive 110% employee engagement. Why 110%? Why not 100? Because a lot of times they get people to do more than they think they can. The final action. Every morning, repeat this to yourself. I make a difference in the lives of the people I lead, and I have a responsibility to be the best leader I can. Because leadership is a choice and an aspiration. So what's the secret to success as a leader of change and leaving a legacy? How do we develop leaders in the future? What do you think you need to do? Practice it. Now, one of the challenges I know you all have, just like Bharadwaj said right at the beginning, I didn't do the pre-work because I was busy, I got a new job. I'm sure we all have our challenges on a day-to-day basis, right? Everybody has challenges. Tomorrow morning, I'm sure life will take over and you will get back to doing what you always did. So here is something that I have for you all. The choice of using it is completely yours. I'm offering it to you. And this is not about selling it, so I'm being very cautious in what I say. This is an app that I've developed from that book. If you click this QR code, you get to invest in this app, and every day for the next 30 days, it will take you through practicing leadership. My yoga guru tells me the cycle for changing a habit is 21 days or 42 days or 108 days. That's what we believe in our customs, those of you who know about that. And that's why this thing is about 30 days. If you feel that it makes sense to you, please snap it up, invest in it. It'll help you. It's especially driven at a 50% discount just for this group, because I know you're Toastmasters. I'm a former Toastmaster, and that's why. Please take advantage. If you don't want to do it, that's also perfectly fine. There are other ways that you can practice it as well. With that, I would like to say thank you to Jyotika and to Daryl and the team at Leap 3.0, including a lady by name Renu, who I had met a couple of times. Thank you for inviting me. I hope this session made sense to all of you, and I hope this session has given you enough tools to be able to take your leadership and leave an amazing legacy in this changing world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sridhar, for that insightful and such a beautiful session. I make a difference in the lives of the people I lead, and I have a responsibility to be the best leader I can be. That's my reputation, and I believe Leap has definitely given me that opportunity to not only repeat what you have mentioned, but also live by it. So thank you very much for bringing such a profound session on leaving a legacy. It's not easy to leave a legacy, but I think you've given us ways of how we can do it. So thank you very much. Let's all give a huge round of applause to Sridhar. Yes, Sridhar, you want to say something?
And thanks to my mentors, Jim Kouzes and Barry Posner, who have inculcated this in me. So the thanks goes to them through me. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. We always become the means to someone else's um, knowledge or growth, right? And you have become that for us in the sixth level, the first session of the sixth level. And thank you very much for that. You definitely have set the right tone for our leaders who now are moving into creating a legacy and creating an impact in their leadership journey. Thank you very much, Sridhar. Please accept a small token of appreciation and gratitude from us from District 121 and the LEAP team on giving this session on leading with impact or driving change.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for being kind enough to spend these 2.5 hours with us. I know you're a busy person, but you've done that. And I'm truly grateful for that. Thank you very much, Sridhar. I will definitely share the feedback, because we usually do feedback after every session. I'll share that in a few days when we compile everything together. Probably that will help you to understand how you have delivered the session. I'm sure it was awesome. Our leaders have definitely got a lot of takeaway from this session. Thank you, Sridhar.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Take a
God
picture,
bless.
Jyotika, before.
Good night. Yes. Now, before we move on to the session,
Sridhar,
we
can you
have
stay
to.
back? We'll just click a picture and
Yes,
then.
we'll take a picture
Sure.
before.
Oh. Sorry, I removed the spotlight because I thought it was too much of brightness on my face and my white hair was shining too much.
All right, those on Spotlight, please smile. And now it's time for everybody to come on video, and I will click a group picture. So 3, 2, 1, smile. All right, I have a couple of screens, so you'll have to wait.
Sure. Maybe sometime you're going to show me how you do this, because then I can learn from that.
Thank God we have. Thank God we have Daryl for that. Daryl does a great job.
Yes, thank you. I've clicked the picture. Back to you, Jyotika.
Thank you, thank you. Before we get into the capstone project briefing, I'll hand over the stage to Daryl so that he can finish off the week forward. Over
Yes,
to you,
thank you
Daryl.
very much. Thank you very much,
Sridhar,
Jyotika.
in
Let
case
me.
if you need to leave, you're free to leave, Sridhar.
Thank you very much, everybody. God bless in your leadership journey. Wish you all those lovely successes that you wish for. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Let me quickly share my screen and show you what's in store for the week ahead. While the session concludes today, I do not know whether you're happy or not, but there's no post-session assignment, so you can relax for some time. But of course, practice what you learned today. The capstone project guidelines have been shared with all of you, and it's also uploaded in your leadership vault. I hope you have gone through it, and of course, we'll have the question and answer session post this. What you all have to work on from today till the 20th of February is work on getting your capstone idea proposal, work on the proposal. And of course, you'll also need to get it approved by your mentor. That's your major task for the next 18 days. Like I always say, post your learnings on the session conducted on your LinkedIn profile, share your thoughts, appreciate our trainers and mentors as well on our Leap 3.0 LinkedIn page. And our Leap chat has also shared the brochure and the website link of Leap 3.0 on District 121. So go ahead and take a look at that. Uh, the feedback form has been shared in our chat. I will also post it in our community, but please do fill it in by Sunday. That is February 8th. Also, I hope you are on track with your Pathways Mentors program. Three of you all have already completed it, and we have recognized it. But here's a gentle nudge to the others. The poll has also been pinned in our community, so please do update it as per your progress. With that, I will stop sharing my screen and let's quickly acknowledge our team leaders for the month of January. So I'm going to call out your name. Please do raise your hand, and I'm going to ask Jyotika to spotlight you. So we had group one, we had Ram Prasad, and you all can applaud for our team leaders as well. All right. So Ram Prasad, Lata Manoj was group leader, leader of group two. Lata Nahar was
Please raise your hand so it's easy.
yeah.
Yes.
So Lata Nahar was the team leader of group three. We had Kiran, group leader of team four. Rupa,
Kiran, 1 second. Kiran, Lata,
yes.
Nahar. All right.
I am there. I'm there.
Okay. Done. Kiran.
Kiran. Right. We had Sunil of group six. Sumant of group seven.
Yes.
Shruti, group eight.
Shruti, are you there?
And
Yeah, Jyoti.
Akash.
Please raise your hand.
And Akash from group nine.
Akash, are you there? Akash.
Yes, Akash is there.
Okay, Akash is there. Okay, done.
All right. So those of you who are on Spotlight, please do smile. Everybody else cheer for them. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much to each one of you for leading your teams in the month of January. And here's wishing all the best to our team leaders for the month of February. That's it from my end. Back to you, Jyotika, to handle the next
Okay.
session.
Yes, thank you very much. I'll quickly jump into the briefing of the capstone project. I hope all of you have received the capstone project guidelines and read it too. Not only received, but also taken some time to read the guidelines. Are there any questions that you want to ask? No questions at all? Oh my God. So I'm sure y'all have not read it then. I'm sure you'll have just received it and still basking in the memory of Leap Connect. If that's the case, then it's time to move on because 20th is your deadline. Now, Capstone project is a collective project. It's not an individual project. So a lot of you may be having questions as to, oh, we are in different locations. How do we conduct? How do we have this common project and deliver it accordingly, right? So you must have your creativity at your best, first of all, when you're picking the project. And so far, you've learned leadership. Now it is to be a leader, implement what you have learned so far. So pick a leadership problem that is a genuine problem. Don't do it for the sake of doing. We just don't want any project. I mean, that will clearly come out, right? If you're just picking a project which is done for the sake of it. So pick a genuine problem that you have, leadership problem within your Toastmasters organization or within your club, area, division, or even outside in your organization. Now, how can you put everyone together? Now, imagine this way. You're in an online club or you're working in an organization where you have teams spread across the entire world and you have to work on a project. How will you do that? You wouldn't say, right, oh, I'm based in Bangalore, I'm based in Calcutta. How will I coordinate with someone in the US? You'll find ways to do it. So similarly, you have to put your thoughts together. Examples are given. You can pick up from the examples that are there, or you can be creative as well. I would suggest that you look at your own problems that are there, but the focus mostly is on a real leadership problem. And remember, you will not be evaluated on success of the outcome, not success of the outcome, but it's about, did you succeed in putting the processes together, in bringing the team together. So understand that you may face situations along the way. How have you dealt with the situation? So have you demonstrated your leadership capabilities? Yes, outcome is definitely an aspect, or an element of this entire marking, but that is not the only thing. So don't think that, oh, just I have to show the outcome, I have to show the results, then it will be a success. For example, you have five of you in your team, and two of them probably are focusing on the project to just make it successful, whereas the other three may not be a part of the project that much. And if that is the case, then even if you achieve success, you will be marked down. And therefore, please involve all five of them or six of them and collaborate in a project that is really helpful for your organization or the club. Be as creative as possible. You can discuss with your mentor. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Even otherwise, if you have any questions, please feel free to call me. But I would highly recommend that you first contact your mentor, and then in case if there is any ambiguity, the mentor will contact me, and then we'll seek clarification. But this is your time. If there is any clarification, please ask me. 20th is your deadline to put up your plan to your mentor, and 10 days for the preparation of your project. It's a 60 days project, 6 to 8 weeks rather. If you have a project which is 6 weeks, it's perfectly all right. So between 6 to 8 weeks. And the final presentation will be after the conference. So somewhere in mid-May, we will be doing the graduation ceremony and the project presentation as well. And all of you will have to participate in the presentation. It shouldn't be just one person presenting. All of you will have to participate in the presentation. The presentation time will be 20 minutes plus Q&A. Therefore, please be prepared for the Q&A as well. The capstone project, the capstone guideline also mentions the judging criteria as well. So look at the judging criteria, but your focus should not only be on the judging criteria. You're not doing it to win. Look at the project. Look at a project that's really credible and of help to the society, to your fraternity. Focus on the process. So if you're, for example, creating a speechcraft, for example, I'm just giving it's a hypothetical situation. You create a speechcraft, okay? Now, you've conducted a speechcraft. Maybe you don't have membership in your club and you want to raise your membership. So you come up with the idea that, yes, speechcraft is a great thing to do. Now, this is a product that is already available by TI. It's great to apply it, but what you have to focus on is not creating a speechcraft and getting 10 members from outside. What you have to focus is on the process. This has to be a sustainable project for your club. Are you making it a part of the membership building activity? Are you creating SOPs? Are you creating processes? Are you creating people who are going to be responsible? I'm going to take this legacy forward. So how are you going to incorporate or introduce those processes within your organization? And there are evidences that you have to also give, which is in the section of sustainability. Therefore, please do not look at a project which is very temporary. It will easily come out when you present it, and therefore do something where you can really demonstrate your leadership capabilities. Any more questions?
I have
Well,
one.
yes, Varinder.
So as per the guidelines which I read, and we also had a discussion during the Lead Connect.
Yes.
So one of the things you told that it should show an impact in the 2 months, 6 to 8 weeks. So it won't be a full impact, Jyotika. How will you measure the impact? That was my question.
So
That it may
absolutely.
have a long-term impact and not a now immediate visible impact.
So You're totally right, Barinder. For example, if you're having a speech craft, you may not have members coming and signing up immediately, right? By the time the project will be over. But the way you have put the entire process together, that is what the judges will also look at. It's not about how many members you've brought in or the impact. Yes, you have created impact in the way you have involved people. There are minimum 10 members that you have to involve other than your own team. So have you included them? What is the evidence? What is the response that you have got from them? What are the leaders that you have been able to create in these 2 months? Leaders, when I say the sustainability aspect of it. So even we are not focusing on the outcomes, the grand success of the outcome, but success on how you have dealt with the challenges that you have faced. Okay, so don't worry about creating a major impact and getting those major results, but we are looking at a wholesome package of how you have actually dealt with the problem, leadership problem on hand, and how have you been proactive in creating processes and bringing people together. Does that make sense?
Yes, and one more follow-up question. Will you be, or maybe the mentors will be vetting the problem statements which we have decided
So
upon?
you can discuss with them. See, 20th, you have to submit your plan. What I would suggest is create your own create your own your dates, right? Your timeline for your presentation. So sit with your mentor, work it backwards. 20th April is when you have to present your presentation. Obviously, the problem statement has to be clear, which means you can take another week to discuss with your team. So have your timeline done up until the project completion. That will be great.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Srinidhi.
Ma'am, I was expecting leave to conclude by April. Middle of May, I have an international travel planned. So if you fix a particular date, it may or may not work for me for the final presentation. Are we a little flexible on those?
See, we can't do all the presentations in one day. So if you can tell the dates, first of all, we were planning it in the first week of May, but the conference got preponed, right? It preponed, I think, from the 16th to the 8th. So that is where I had to now shift it after the conference. It's going to be very tight if I'm going to do it the first week of May. We can work it out. So if anyone has a problem in your availability, do let Daryl know about it. Then we can definitely work out. But I don't know if I can accommodate all of them, but definitely we can find a solution to the problem.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Prashant.
Yeah, madam, if you take a bigger project which has a
Yes.
longer impact, it may take time. So in that case, should we limit the scope of our project?
Can you give me an example, Prashant?
No, say we are working on a long-term project like maybe implementing some system in place.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
can prepare the strategy or a course of layout, but result won't be immediate.
So preparing a strategy is one thing and also executing is another thing. The
Yes.
result is the third phase. Okay.
Yes.
So create your strategy, start implementing it, and there you will definitely see in 2 months' time, right? What is the kind of shape it is? Is it taking any shape? Are you facing any challenges? How are you handling these challenges? Do you see an outcome that will come in a couple of months' time? So it is the genuinity of the project that you have to keep in mind. Now, we are not looking at a major project like a massive project that you're planning to implement. That probably may not be very practical. So look at something that you can handle in the next 2 months' time, and also ensure that the results will come out in 3 or 4 months' time. Okay. Chetlur, you were raising your hand. Yes.
I'm also traveling in the first week of May for about a month and a half. So, as a mentor, again, we'll have to request and see how the dates are. But I'm confident that I'll be available online at least for the
Yes.
So that I
Yes.
don't know.
See, one thing you'll have to understand, we have 50 plus sleepers here, right? Accommodating everybody's request will be a big challenge. And we plan to close this project or plan to close this program by latest by end May. We plan to close this. My idea is mid-May, but depending on your availability and all that, but when it's presented means it will be presented at a stretch, right? It could go over 3 or 4 days period, but it will be presented because we have to get judges also, right? and judges have to be available for the project. So we'll definitely, I mean, the idea is not to exclude anyone. The idea is to have everyone in the process, because it is your graduation project. So there is no way that I can exclude anyone. Let's work it out. Bring in your concerns that are there. Speak to Daryl, speak to your mentors first. But now here the mentor himself is not available. So in that case, we'll work it out, Chetlur. We'll work it out.
What I mean to ask is, if the dates can be known, then I have some travels planned during month, and I'll realign them. So that's what.
Okay, I have not finalized the date yet. If you can give me some time, I'll get the dates.
Yeah, before end of February also is fine.
Yeah.
That
I'll
is
start working on the project. By end of the month, I should come with the dates.
perfect. I'm not going to miss anything, so sure.
And this is online, right? So online, I think if you can make yourself available. I know you're traveling to Muscat, is it?
I'm traveling to Abu Dhabi for the DTAC, and then
Okay, DTAC. Okay.
to Paris, and then to
So
Paris.
one solace is that Abu Dhabi will have good internet connection, so you cannot say that, oh, internet is not available. So you can be available anytime. Right.
Very much, very much.
Okay, but we'll let you know, Chetlur.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else with any question? What project to take? What do we do? I think I've given enough evidence, right? Enough suggestions in the capstone project guideline that should give you an idea. But I would suggest be as creative as possible. Leap is a result of creativity. Leap didn't come with a manual when I started it off. I had to start it from scratch. And it is only thinking and thinking and thinking that created this massive project. So I believe any excuses you come up with is because you're not thinking enough. And as leaders, it is very important for you to bring in creativity. Like Shridhar rightly said, right? You have to create that change all the time. I mean, you cannot be stuck up with one idea and your comfort zone. Come out of it and think different.
Jyotika, just one question I had.
Yes, Navya.
So I just saw like how many members should be there in a team. So apart from the core team, there is like 10 members should be included. So like how many members?
See, the thing is, when you create a project, the project will be for the benefit of others, right? It could be your organization, your club. So there are people who are being impacted by your project. So there should be minimum at least 10 people who are impacted. For example, I go back again to the speechcraft problem, but please don't take the speechcraft because I'm quoting it again. It's just an example that I'm giving. Now, say for example, you identify that there is a problem with the college clubs, okay, where students are not really inclined, or there is an organization which wants to have Toastmasters club. Just an example, all right? So you are trying to do a speechcraft there. Obviously, you cannot do a speechcraft with 5 people or 10 people. There should be at least 20 people there for the speechcraft. Similarly, you may have a project in your organization which is worth taking. Now that should impact 10 people at least in your organization. That is communication related. It could be onboarding or whatever. But one more thing that I'd like to say here is, so is it clear, Navya?
Yeah, Jyotika.
It has to impact at least 10 people in that project. Then only it makes sense. Otherwise, all the effort is just a waste, isn't it? See, one more thing is, an organization, you may find a gap in your organization, and that could be HR related. Say, for example, onboarding process. I think I've spoken to someone here, I don't remember. Now, you may have to go and talk to the HR to implement the project that you are putting together. But the thing is, how much of your involvement is there? You can't just leave it to the HR and say, oh, she's going to do it or he's going to do it. Are you going to be involved in the project? If not, then that may not be a viable project for you to take. Although it may help your organization, it may not be a viable project to take. So take something where you have a control and you can implement within your team, within your organization, where you and your team can get involved to implement the project.
Got it.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, sure. Got it. Thank you.
Any other question? Junior Karthik has any question?
He has a lot of questions. He's
Lot
like,
of questions. We
yeah,
have
yeah.
Junior Kalyani also here.
Hey, don't talk. Nice meeting you all.
Yeah. So Karthik
Hearts
doesn't
from
have
him. Lots
questions.
of hearts from him.
Yes, lots of hearts. I believe everyone is geared up to start your projects. Be creative, stretch your thinking, stretch your thinking. It may feel, I mean, you may feel like, what is this? Jyotika, she has given these guidelines. It's very difficult to implement, but push yourself a little bit. Push yourself. And you'll realize that there is so much of creativity in you. You can do so much more than that, more than you can think you can do. So believe in yourself, come out with some best projects. Okay. Why so much of silence? Either you all are confused or you all are, I know you all are sleepy. It's 10:15. I think we better leave. We better close the session. I believe there is no other question.
No.
Sumant, you're smiling. So I believe you're fully ready to take on the project.
Yes, ma'am. We are ready. My team is ready, not just me.
Very good. Excellent. All right. I think I'll close the session now. Now, this doesn't mean that you cannot ask any questions in the future. Please feel free to reach out to your mentors, and mentors will reach out to us during our session. But otherwise, please feel free to call Daryl or me as well. All right. With that, I think I'll adjourn this meeting and we'll meet next week. Next week, we're going to have a global panel discussion, and it will be open for the entire District 121. So let's see. And we will be presenting, the three of us will be not me, the three top projects will be presented. So please prepare yourself well, as you'll have a bigger audience to present your project in front of. So wish you all the best and good night. Take care of yourself and sleep well.
Good night.